Hello everyone and welcome to day number 8 of the Highway to Hell Gas vs. Electric Car Tournament. This is the last day of the regular season, if you will, which means we only have one spot left in the grand finals. The previous 7 have already been filled. One of these 4 could join them, but it could be one of the 4 from the second group, which we will meet later. For now though, there's a Tesla, a Lucid Air, a Corvette, and an Acura. The Tesla is out in front, which I'm sure many people are sick of seeing by now, but things could change as we saw just now. The Lucid Air is out in front, but here comes the Tesla again. They're kind of going back and forth as they go into this final turn. The Lucid Air is trying to catch him. Can he do it? No, he can't, but he finished in a very close second. The Acura in third, and here comes the Corvette in last. And I think that was a 14.68. Not the greatest time we've ever seen, but still a respectable one. Not a good start for the Corvette, though. Hopefully they can turn things around in the next 3 races. So a good start for the Tesla, but the Lucid Air did finish right behind them, so I think the Lucid Air could still pull off something here. It's just a matter of how and when. They are going to get that large turn that kills a lot of speed later on in the track, so they want to try and get as much of a lead as they possibly can, and right now they're not exactly doing that. And with the Tesla right on their tail, that's probably not a good sign. Yep, the Tesla has taken the lead from them, but the Lucid Air and the Acura are right behind him. Can the Tesla stay straight? They spin around, but so does the Lucid Air. And the Acura tries to push the Lucid Air across to stop the Tesla from winning. But sadly, the Tesla was able to block him before he could pass through. A 15.33, not where you want to be. Granted, that's after they spun around, so they did lose some speed there. But we'll see what happens in race 3. Coming into race 3 now, it's looking good for the Tesla and the Lucid Air currently. So the Corvette and the Acura have some work to do. Because remember, we're only allowing the top 2 through. So even if they don't necessarily finish first, they still have a shot if they move on to the finals. And the Lucid Air is keeping in contention with the Tesla, but the Tesla still has a tighter turn than he does. And now the Acura is staying on par with the Lucid Air, but the Tesla is spinning out of control, does regain their composure, and finishes first yet again, which guarantees their spot in the finals. But look at this, the Acura somehow got stuck, and the Corvette slides past them, allowing them to finish in third. We'll have to look at the replay on that one. I'm not entirely sure what happened. Did they lose control? Did somebody stop them? I can't tell if the Lucid Air really made any connection with them, but somehow the Acura went sideways and just could not regain enough speed to finish. Very unfortunate for the Acura. So we go into the final race now, and the Tesla has already stamped their spot in the finals, and it's looking pretty good for the Lucid Air. But we've seen time and time again in this tournament that some absolutely crazy and unexpected things can happen at any point for any reason. So at this point, unless there's absolutely no chance for a racer to catch up, I am not counting anyone out. Right now though, the Lucid Air is staying in front of the Tesla, knocks his nose into the wall, so he loses a lot of momentum, and the Lucid Air will actually finish in front of the Tesla. It didn't necessarily mean too much, considering they had a high chance of moving on anyways, but that was just so the Lucid Air could stop the Tesla from having a sweep. They could still do that in the finals, but at least it won't be a total sweep this time. And they finished with a 14.54, very respectable. They might want to up their game a little bit for any competition they may have later. But with the Tesla and Lucid Air moving on, let's go to the second group. So in the second group, we have a Kia, a Pininfarina, a BMW, and a Ford. We've seen some Kias and Pininfarinas do somewhat well, at the very least. But now here's the chance for a Ford or a BMW to shine, because we haven't seen too many of them actually. Right now though, the Kia is out in front, has a decent sized lead, but here comes the Ford trying to keep up with them. Can they take advantage of that turn? They do a little bit, but the Kia is still out in front. If the Kia can keep straight, they'll probably get this win. Oh, but look at this, they're spinning sideways. Here comes the Ford. Can they catch him? No, they can't. Very close, though. Meanwhile, here comes the BMW, and then the Pininfarina. From what we've seen, I think the Pininfarinas are a little inconsistent. Sometimes they do really well, and sometimes they don't. I'm not sure if it's the shape of the car or the way the track's laid out. I'm not entirely certain. But with that last place finish, let's see if they can pick up some slack in the next race. So race number 2, here we go. Everyone's been rearranged. Let's see if these lane changes can make any sort of difference. Off we go. Kia is already starting to take a slight lead, but the Ford is right next to him, and he has a tighter turn, but they're still staying neck and neck. Right now the Ford has the bigger turn, and the Kia has already had that lane, so they are looking good right now, especially as they pull in front. They almost jumped off the lane, it seems. They start going backwards. The Ford is trying to catch him again, but still is unable to. I'm not sure what caused the Kia to jump up there, but they still managed to get the win, which is good for them. Meanwhile, it looks like one of our racers didn't finish. Somehow the Pininfarina ended up on its side. Usually we see some stop sideways, and we've seen 1 or 2 flip upside down, but I don't think I've ever seen that. Somehow the momentum must have shifted them to their side, but I'm not entirely certain. Either way, not looking good for the Pininfarina. So unfortunately at this point, it looks like the Pininfarina has next to no shot. Maybe they can pull something off that I just don't see coming. But otherwise, it's not looking good for them. Once again, though, the Kia and the Ford are neck and neck as they go into this turn, which could make all the difference. Kia already has a slight lead and extends that lead by quite a bit. Going into the final stretch now, can they keep straight this time? They seem to do a slight hop, but they did manage to keep straight, allowing them to finish with a solid time. Ford right behind them. Here comes the Pininfarina, actually, finishing in 3rd. Is the BMW going to finish? Yes, they will. I'm not entirely sure what allowed the Pininfarina to do a little bit better there. Granted, 3rd's not much better, but it's certainly better than not finishing at all. But look at that time of 14.11. A very solid time. Any closer you can get to the 14-second mark, the better. So as we go into this last race, the Kia has already guaranteed their position in the finals alongside our other 2 entrants already. The Ford is looking good, not completely guaranteed. The BMW still technically has a shot, although that shot is extremely small at this point. They would need to, at the very least, finish in front of the Ford, and it's not looking like that's going to happen. The Kia is trying to get a solid sweep here. Can they do it? They're staying straight, so it's looking like they will, yes. Yes, they will. And the Ford is going to move on alongside them. Here comes the BMW moving very slow, slipping sideways, and they were unable to finish. The Pininfarina slips past them, but that is not a way they want to go out. It's like they had no shot at that point, but at the very least, I would have wanted to finish. Looking at this, though, the Kia did break the 14-second mark, and they got the sweep. So they're looking a little bit more promising than the Tesla that was in the last leg, but they will move on with the Ford as we approach the finals. So once again in the finals, we have a Tesla, but once again as well, we have a Lucid Air and several other vehicles that are trying to stop them. They've been able to do that in more recent races, so let's see if they can do that again here. Right now, they're all staying side by side, which makes it that much more exciting because the competitiveness rises from that. Right now, the Kia is out in front, then the Ford, then the Tesla, and then the Lucid Air. Can they stay straight? That's a big question that I often ask because they sometimes do and sometimes they don't. But the Kia does finish in 1st along with the Ford. The Tesla finishes in 3rd, and the Lucid Air is the one who stops almost approaching the finish line, so they won't gain any points. Not a promising start, especially compared to some other Lucid Airs, but with the Tesla finishing in third, there's a good chance that they may not make it. So we'll have to see what happens in the next race. So it looks like the Tesla will have one of the middle lanes, which could mean since they don't have any super wide turns, they might be able to be a little bit more consistent with their speed. If they can take advantage of that, then they might be able to make a bit of a comeback here. Right now, the Kia is out in front yet again, and they've won every race they've been in so far. Let's see if they can keep that streak alive. That big turn did kill some of their speed, but they're still staying in contention for the lead. The Tesla is out in front, and he's blocking two of the other racers, allowing him to get the win. Some people might see that as a very dirty move, as he almost kept all three of them from finishing. But the Kia and the Ford finish at least. Sadly though, the Lucid Air does not finish again. So at this point, it's pretty much guaranteed that they will not finish. That is very unfortunate, especially after making it this far. Yeah, that may be one of the slowest finishes overall that I have ever seen. But the Tesla is back in the game. Can the Kia or the Ford stop them? And now at this point, if there's anyone that could possibly stop that Tesla, it's going to be likely the Kia, possibly the Ford. We could see a little bit of teamwork like we did in last day's race that stopped a Tesla from moving on. But we will have to see as they go into this big turn here. The Tesla does have the upper hand, with the Kia right behind him, along with the Lucid Air, who's staying in contention this time. They go into this final turn, all of them pretty much stay straight, and the Tesla wins again. This time though, the Lucid Air finishes and they finished in third. Might not make much of a huge difference since the top two are staying relatively consistent here. But in order for the Kia to win, they will have to beat the Tesla in the final race. So now we approach the final race of this leg, unless somebody ties, but it doesn't look like that will happen. The Kia does have a shot to take the Tesla out, but in order to do that, he needs to beat him here and now. There is no other option. So far, the Kia does have that tight turn, so they'd be able to take that to their advantage, and they are out in the lead, trying to keep the Tesla from finishing in front of them. If they can stay straight, they may actually stop the Tesla. They finish in first. The Lucid Air almost stops the Tesla from finishing in second, which would have pretty much sealed it. We'll have to check the score. But unfortunately, once again, we have somebody who does not finish in the last race. Once again, that is not something you want to happen. Even if you have no shot, you still want to go out and finish strong. But look at that, it's the Kia! They actually managed to stop the Tesla! So ladies and gentlemen, we have our final 8. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the grand finals.